notes. You're not doing anything else. If your mom's like, go wash the dishes, you'll be like, no, I gotta take these notes. She's like, you're right. Math is important. Yes, mom, or dad, or grandmother, whoever. Okay. Proportional tables is what we did yesterday, and we're gonna continue today. But today I'm also gonna add and graphs. So we're gonna do proportional tables and graphs. So the second part of the lesson will be graphs. The first part will be tables, okay? So yesterday, you guys did tables that looked like this. 1, 2, 6, 9. Okay, you guys did tables that looked like this, right? Or maybe it didn't have the 1. And your assignment yesterday was, okay, find K, find what the equation is, right? And yesterday was pretty easy, right? You just had to figure out, like, okay, what did I multiply 1 to get to 4? What did I multiply 2 to get to 8? What did I multiply 9 to get to 36, right? And 6 to 24. So what's this magical, awesome number that I multiplied everything by? What did I multiply X by to get to Y? What's this magical, magical number? Can anybody tell me what a magical, magical number is? Yes, Daniel, thank you for participating. So the magical number is 4. If I take 9 times 4, I get 36. If I take 1 times 4, I get 4, right? So then my equation would be y equals 4x, right? This would be my equation. This would be my constant of proportionality, right? So that was pretty easy to find, right? That's what you did yesterday. But what if you get a table and these are the numbers that you get? What if I give you this table? There's no 1. Can't look for 1. There's no x that is 1. Some of you might still say it's 4, right? But notice how my arrows go from top.
4.
A lot of you are going to say 4. Okay, I'll jump to my conclusion. It's not 4. It's not 4. So pay attention. A lot of kids say it's 4. Even my first period is like, it's 4. I'm like, no, it's not 4, right? Because notice how I'm going down. The question is, what did I do to X, the top number, to get to Y, the bottom number? You can't change the direction of the arrow. It's what magical number did I multiply 40 to get to 10? And it's not 4 because 40 times 4 is totally not 10, right? It is somewhat like division. What it is, though, when it's in this format, right, it's different. And there's one way we have to do it. Okay, so this is how we do it. Some of you have already said some of the answers, so it's good. Now, when it gets really hard and these numbers don't make any sense, this is what you're going to do. Some of you can look at it right now and determine what it is. Good. But what if they're funky numbers, like the next problem? So pay attention. Even though you know the answer, pay attention. What you're going to do when you're just like, I don't know. I don't know what number, right? It's not 4 because we have to go in this direction, right? Nope. 12 times 4 is not 3. I can divide, but this is multiplication, right? So what do I do? Here's what you do. You're going to use the form y over x. Okay? You're going to put the numbers of y on the top and the numbers for x on the bottom, like division. This comes from your ordered pair x, y, right? So from the table. So let's pick a combo. Let's do this first one here. So the y is 6, so I'm going to put it in on the top, and the top number is 24. Okay, so I wrote this like a fraction. But notice that the y number goes on top. It always goes on top. Y always, always, always goes on top. Now I have a fraction. Okay, this is where it gets hard, but it's not hard. That makes no sense, but it does to me. What can I simplify 6 and 24 by? What can I divide 6 and 24 by? What number can I divide 6 and 24 by?
4.
4? No, I can't divide 6 by 4.
6.
6. There we go. What is that equal to? What's 6 divided by 6? 1. What's 24 divided by 6? 4. Wonder what that means. I'm not really sure. I'm going to do another fraction. Let's take this one and write it as y over x, so 5 over 20. I'm going to divide this by 5. 5 divided by 5, 1. 20 divided by 5, 4. What? Is it a coincidence that they match? Let me do one more. 3 over 12. Again, it has to be in this form. Y over x. Do not flip it! If you flip it, you get 4, which is not our answer. I can divide this by 3. You should have learned how to simplify like in elementary school when you did like adding fractions. You had to simplify them. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Dude, what's going on? What is going on here? What is going on is, guess what we call this fraction? We call it your unit rate. We call it the constant of proportionality. So that means that k is equal to 1/4. Your equation would be y equals 1/4 x. So if I were to take 40 and multiply it by 1/4, I would get 10. So sometimes your constant of proportionality is a fraction. And Daniel, we write them as fractions, not as decimals. So your first answer, which was 1/4 that you gave me, is the correct answer. 0.25, when we talk about constant of proportionality, most of the time we don't do decimals, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay. Are we okay? It looks hard. It's really not. I'm using like a 5th grade math right here. All right, so let's try another one. X, Y. Wow, look at that. I don't even know. I mean, look at these numbers. I don't see any pattern to them. They're not in order. They're really weird numbers, like it's really complicated, huh? Like, how do I go from 14 times what is 4? Remember, you have to go in this direction. Even if you try to go the other way, like it still doesn't make any sense. Like, what did you multiply 4 to get to 14? Like, it doesn't even go into it, right? It's like, what? This is totally weird. This would be like the hard questions, But it's not really hard. It's pretty easy. So what you have to do is you have to use the magical form of y over x. This will be your new best friend. You're going to be using this form a lot. Okay? Y are just the y numbers, x are just the x numbers, and you get to choose which pair you want. I'm gonna do this pair first. Okay, so I'm gonna do 10 over 35. If you don't write it in the correct form, you get a wrong answer. It's very, 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 very special. Okay, what can I divide 10 and 35 by? What magical number can I divide 10 and 35 by?
5.
5. Thank you very much for participating. 5. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Can I simplify 2 and 7? Nope. Wonder if they're all equal to 2 sevenths. Let's check. Let's do this pair now. 4 over 14. What can I divide 4 and 14 by? Oh, I can divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. I'm not sure yet. Not sure about this. Let's do 8 over 28. I can divide by 4. What do you get when you divide this by 4? 8 divided by 4? 2. 28 divided by 4? 7. What? They're all equal to 2 sevenths, which means that your unit rate, your constant of proportionality, is 2 sevenths. Your equation is y equals 2 7 x. No worries, Jorge. You're back. You're good. So this is why we leave it in fraction form, because sometimes your fractions are really, really, really weird. And if I were to literally turn this into a decimal, 2 over 7, it would be a really weird decimal, right? So this is why when we write the equations and the unit rate, we tend to write them as fractions, okay? So when you're looking at a table and it's not very easy to figure out the unit rate, like yesterday's, like the ones we did yesterday for notes, we were like, oh yeah, just multiply by 3, multiply by 2, super easy. Oh my God, this is the easiest thing in the world. And it was. Today, I made it just a little bit harder where you really couldn't see them. And the reason you couldn't see them was because the answer is a fraction and it's not apparent. If you were to give me this problem, you'd be like, Miss Lama, can you tell me the unit rate for this? Can you tell me the constant of proportionality? I'd be like, give me 1 second. I got to do some math. It wouldn't be fast. It would be like, give me a second. Okay, I understand. Hey, your unit rate is 2 sevenths. Could I have done that just by looking at it in 10 seconds? No, I could not. You need to do the work. All right. That's part 1 of the lesson. That only took 13 minutes. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I was aiming too high. Okay, I'm going to teach you something a lot easier than this, and then it gets progressively harder. So now we're going to do the graphs. All right. Blink twice because this is going to be easier than what I just showed you. So like, if you're a little bit lost, come back to me because this should be easier than what I just showed you. So come back to me if you were lost because this should be easier. I like graphs. All right, so let's draw our graphs. Remember that this is your X and this is your Y. And okay, go up by ones. I just did 1 through 6. On my Y's, I went up by 5s. So go ahead and do that. All right, give you guys a couple seconds to make sure you copy this down. All right. So the only thing I'm going to give you, the information I give you is just the graph. And from the graph, I would like you to tell me, okay, what's K equal to? What's the constant of proportionality? And then tell me what the equation would be. Does anybody want to take a wild guess at what would be my constant of proportionality, my K in this situation? What would be my unit rate? My constant of proportionality. What would be? All right. Okay. The easiest way would be look for 1 on X. This is the easiest way. Level 1. Look for 1 on X. Okay, here's X. Look for 1. Look for the dot. Here's the dot. Okay? Now, look for X on 1. On 1. Look for the point. It's called a point, not a dot. Okay? Then, whatever Y is, that is your K. So, if you look for 1 on X, look for the point. So here's 1 on X. So find the number 1 on the X. Look for the point. Oh, okay. So I'm going to go to X on 1. I'll lower it down a second. You look for the point. Wherever the point is on the Y, whatever number that Y is, that's your K. This is the easiest way to do it. You find 1, you go up, whatever K is, that's your constant of proportionality. If you can find the 1. So K would be 5. So the equation would be Y equals 5X. If I were to do it as a point, the point is 1, 5, X, Y. So it would be, if I were to do it like I showed you before, it would be 5 over 1, which is equal to 5. 5 over 1. Make sure you put the Y on the top. The Y was 5. So it would be 5. 5 over 1. We still can use Y over X. Okay. This is the easiest one. If you have a 1, you go up to your point, wherever Y is, wherever the dot is on Y, that would be your K. But you got to find the 1. Okay? That's level uno. All right, let's do another one. A little bit harder. I'm going to trick you. Don't get tricked. Warning you. Don't get tricked. Okay, let's do another graph. They don't have to be huge. So I go up by 1s on my X, and I also go up on my Y's by 1. So up by 1, but notice where my dots are. Those are my dots are, my points. Okay, so easiest way is to look for 1 on the X. So here's the 1. What value of Y do I have on the point where the X is 1? So go to 1, go up to where the dot is, and go over to y. I go up, and then I go over. So what is k equal to in this graph? What is k equal to in this graph?
2.
Yes.
That was so confusing, Miss O'Malley.
Well,
It's not like you were just, it's not like you pointed it out like right now.
You know, even if I pointed it out, kids are just like 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? Where'd you get 7? But honestly, though, kids will look at this because I had it happen in first period. I didn't draw the arrows for them, so I drew the arrows for you. In first period, they saw y and they're like, oh, it's going up by 1, Miss O'Malley, so the unit rate's 1. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, well, because look, you're going up by 1s. I'm like, yeah, but remember, if you draw it, then you go up by the unit rate. But you didn't draw this. You just copied mine. So there's a difference. You got to go to 1. You got to see the dot. It's not what the y is going up by. It's where the dots are. And that's how they trick you. They trick you.
Oh, this is a lot more this is easier.
Yes. I'm going to make it harder right now. Trust me.
Uh-oh.
So this is like level 2. Level 2 is you can find the 1 and then the y, the dot's not going in order, right? Like, I mean, this is not your unit rate. Your unit rate is not 1. It's actually 2, right? Okay. So that's level 2. Are we okay with level 2? Are we fine? All right. Next level. And it's not hard at all. Especially if you understand this, you should be able to do this. X, Y. 5, 10, 15, 20. 10, 20, 30. Before I connect, I'm going to zoom it in. So on my X, I went by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. On my Y, I went up by 10. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay? Where I put my first dot's at 0, 0. Always, always, always. Then I'm going to put a dot on 5, 20. Then another dot on 10, 40. And then I'm going to connect it. Just like so. All right. So I taught you, hey, the easiest way is to find the 1 on X. You're like, I'm going to follow Miss Lamelli and be like, I'm going to find the 1 on X. Miss Lamelli, there's no 1. I know. It's terrible. You see how they don't give you a 1? How dare they? They don't give you a 1. So what you have to do is when they don't give you a 1, you got to go back to y over x, your new best friend. So pick a point. Here is a point, right? So this point is located on 5, comma, 20, which means 5 is your x, because it's on the x line, and 20 is your y. So I'm going to use this point to figure out what my k is, because they don't give me 1, and I'm pretty upset about it. So we're going to put 20 over 5. 20 over 5, I'm going to divide by 5, divide by 5. I get 4 over 1. Oh, well, 4 over 1 is just really equal to 4. What if I do the second point? The second point was 10, comma 40. Well, what if I do 40 over 10? Because it has to be y over x. What's 40 divided by 10? Oh, Miss Amelia, 40 divided by 10 is 4. Oh. So that means that my k, my constant of proportionality, is 4. My equation is y equals 4x. Now, why is this graph harder? This graph is harder because they don't give you a 1. So what you have to do is basically locate 2 points, or locate a point, locate where it's at. Oh, it's located at 520, and then use this to find the constant of proportionality. Let's do another one like this, just so I kind of cement it. Let's go on the bottom. Let's count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12. And let's go by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. So I'll tell you the dots. So the dots are always 0, 0. This dot is 3, 6, and the second dot is 6, 12. Okay? Now, the way I first taught you was like, okay, look for the 1. The 1's going to give you all the answer. You're like, yeah, super easy. Oh, man, there's no 1. Boom. So when there's no 1, you're going to like find the ordered pairs if you don't have a table, right? And then you're just going to write it as y over x. Right? Y over x. So here's my point. 6 over 3. What's 6 divided by 3? 6 divided by 3 is 2. What if I do 12 over 6? What's 12 divided by 6?
2.
2. So therefore, my k is equal to 2. My equation is y equals 2x. So when you do not have a 1, oh, I don't have a 1, we got to solve for it by doing x over y. Let me